Hello, Internet. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the DNA Sports Recap.
Let's preview the University of Utah with Arizona visiting at Rice-Eccles Stadium.
Let's move on to this Saturday, which is Arizona coming into Rice-Eccles.
Absolutely. Yeah, for the blackout game.
Yeah, blackout game Saturday. So if you're going to the game, make sure you
8:15.
blake out.
This guy will be there.
Arizona's coming in 2-1 with wins over New Mexico and Northern Arizona. Also a big loss against Kansas State. Arizona's offense.
Big loss.
Yeah. Arizona's offense struggled against K-State. Noah Fifita struggled against their defense, going 26 of 42 passing for a total of 268 yards. So with Arizona coming into Rice-Eccles, Utes will probably be, that's really funny because I put in my notes here that Utes will be out for revenge because that team did get the better of them last year. However, if you listen to the Kyle Whittingham show on ESPN 700, he said that it's less about revenge and more about overcoming how badly we played that game.
Right.
He said that was our worst showing of the season last year was against Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
So it's more about correcting those mistakes than it is about a revenge game. So what do you have on the Arizona coming into the Rice?
Yeah, so let me break down
that.
Basic statistics here. So currently the University of Arizona has the 72nd ranked defense, allowing 347 yards per game. They have the 97th ranked rush defense, allowing 172 yards per game. That is a very interesting statistic, knowing what our rush offense currently looks like.
Mm-hmm.
They are 40th in passing yards allowed, which is actually not bad. And their offense is currently ranked 40th, gaining 437 yards per game.
Okay.
Utah currently has the 19th ranked defense in the country, allowing 260 yards per game. I think Utah is a much better than their current ranking at 19th. I think they're probably a little closer to a top 15 defense in the country. Their rush defense is ranked at 22nd, allowing 93.8 yards per game. They're 34th in passing yards allowed. They allow 167 yards a game currently, and their offense is currently ranked 44th. With Arizona currently ranked 2-1, their wins over New Mexico and Northern Arizona. New Mexico is a Mountain West team. They're a good program. They did score 61 points on New Mexico.
Hang on a second. Is that New Mexico State?
No, it's just New Mexico.
Sorry, New Mexico. No shot at the Pac-12 for you.
New Mexico is currently ranked 130th in defense. When Arizona faced Kansas State's 36th ranked defense, they could only manage 7 points in that game.
Yeah, so basically, for those people who aren't mathing right, 36 defense, Utah's what? You said top 15?
They're 19th currently ranked.
Yeah, but you say top 15.
I say top 15.
Yeah. Let's just say top 19.
Top 19? Top 20.
Almost double.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's almost that many teams in between the two.
Yeah.
Between us and Kansas State. Okay, so I want to make that clarification.
Yeah, and they managed a solid 7 points in that game. And Kansas State shut down the passing offense.
Yeah.
So that game was on the road, and it's always tough to play games on the road. But they had a bye week, and now they're on the road again at Utah. And Utah is, in my opinion, the toughest place to play in the Big 12 Conference. Noah Fifita he's a fantastic quarterback, right? The kid's an outstanding talent. He's got paired up. He's got Teodoro McMillan, and I'm sure I butchered his name. I think it's probably close. Tatoria McMillan. Yeah. But those two are a match made in heaven. You know what I mean? Because Fifita's a great quarterback. He can throw the ball down the field really well. He is great off-platform, which off-platform quarterbacks usually do a pretty good job at really getting, Utah defenses struggle with them because your whole goal is to get them out of the pocket and make them do stuff. You saw it in the Oklahoma State game. We pushed him out of the pocket, made him throw off platform, and he struggled. I don't know. I fear that Arizona is going to struggle getting anything going against this Utah defense. They're not just going to be able to throw the ball down the field. They don't have a huge rushing attack. And typically one-sided offenses or against Utah, you're going to struggle, right? We don't need to load the box up to stop you on the rush. We can drop more guys into coverage, put a safety over top. Yeah, I'm a Utah fan, but I think anybody would say Utah is probably going to win this one by 10 or more.
Yeah, so I would look for the Utes to take early control in this one on both sides of the game.
Yep.
Not sure if Cam is starting, and I'll get into why a little bit later, but I'm not sure that led to your point. I'm not sure it matters. I think Utah is just a deeper team across the board. The depth is just, they can't compete. I think the Utes are going to win this one. I say they cover the 12.5, which at the time of my taking my notes, which was earlier this afternoon, it was at 12.5. I say the Utes win 35-13.
Oh, I like that. I didn't actually put it down, but I would say you're probably, I'm going to say 35-10.
Yeah, I say they get to 13 just simply because I think they're going to put up a little bit more offense. I'm thinking they're going to try a little bit harder to put more points on the board against Utah.
Yeah.
But I don't think that, I think it's only going to be, Utah's only going to allow it because they're going to allow it to run the clock down a little bit more.
Yeah.
So more of that preventive defense for sure. But yeah, I need to express a little bit of concern.
Okay, I'm ready. I love concern because I want to ease your concerns, Darren.
This is a little bit of deja vu for me.
Okay.
I followed the Utes pretty closely last year, probably the first time in about 10 years, really paying attention to this team.
Yeah.
The ins and the outs, listening to every press conference that Witt does, listening to every press conference that players are doing. And I got to say, this is a lot like last year.
Yeah.
And I got to say, the Utes are, don't think they're going to be able to pull that off against this Big 12 conference.
I would say that typically, but the Utes have one of the softer Big 12 conferences. All their tough games, they're at home.
They do. However, I don't see, if they don't have Cam under center, I think they're less likely to win a Big 12 championship. I don't say that they can't, but in my opinion, they're no longer the favorite if Cam's not playing. And
I thought that up until last week. I thought that up until we went to Stillwater with a true freshman quarterback, that you put some of our guys from last year in that same situation, and we lose that game by 3 or more touchdowns.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Isaac is far exceeded expectations so far this season. Far exceeded. This guy, like I mentioned, was signed in April. 18-year-old kid, was playing high school football within the last 12 months.
To start the year.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a kid that's just, and again, this team is definitely going to be wanting to take down Arizona after last year. The thing that I'm talking about here is this sounds a whole lot like last year, where I know it's a little different there. He had an injury on the knee, and we found out how bad it was. Last year was very much like, hey, come to Utah, come back, make your NIL money. We'll, straighten out until we can basically tell them you're not playing. Help be on the sidelines to help intimidate the rest of the power, the Pac-12 conference. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Last year. We know that this year isn't the same. We actually watched the injury. We know what it is.
Yeah.
This came down to 20 minutes before game time. They decided Cam's not starting. We're putting in Zach. And
not Zach.
Sorry, Isaac.
No, God, please, no.
Wow.
Isaac.
You know who Zach played for, right?
Yeah, that's not going to work. You're so going to clip that in this video, aren't you? Oh my gosh.
Dun dun dun.
Anyway, so Isaac has done great. And so they called the game and they said Cam's a scratch, Isaac's starting 20 minutes before the game, and of course he balled out, right? I'm not saying that he didn't, but if you look towards the end of the schedule, this is a team that's not going to, this is the rest of the schedule is not a cakewalk. Their last 3 games, you got UCF, towards the end of this, and I think that's a gotcha game.
And that's an at UCF game too. That's to end the season. That's a tough one.
That's the gotcha game I'm looking at on the schedule that really kind of separates it. Now, can they go undefeated all the way till then? Probably not. But that's my point, is that I don't think if the Utes come away with this without Cam with a 2 loss, I don't think they make it into the conference championship. Like you said, I don't care about Arizona. I don't care who the quarterback is under center against Arizona. I think the Utes are going to do exactly what K-State did to them and just run the ball, and they just have a stronger defensive line. They're just going to run right through them. But when we get to the latter half of the year, if Cam's not under center, man, I don't like the lookout for these Utes, and I don't like the way that it's seeming very similar to last season.
I am just overly optimistic.
Yeah, well, you kind of have to be.
I am though, because I think we're in the right direction with Isaac. I think you have way more talent around Isaac than you had around both of our quarterbacks last year.
Very true.
Dorian Singer is an absolute stud. Some of the catches that he made, Money Parks is playing out of his mind. These guys are putting Isaac's not making, some of these throws are behind people, some of these throws aren't, and we've got receivers that are actually making him look good.
How about that helmet catch, man?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got all these catches that are just we didn't have that last year. You're throwing it to guys that if it wasn't hitting them in the numbers, they weren't catching it. You've got a ton more receiving talent, and it's helping Isaac gain a little bit of confidence and move forward. I think I think Utah can still win the conference even if Cam doesn't come back, and that's exactly my point. Will Cam be back? I don't think it matters, especially for this game.
Okay,
right?
let me preface. I do think he will be back. I don't think
I
he's
do,
back. I don't think
absolutely.
he's back against Arizona though.
I think if Cam's ready, I think he plays, especially because Utah wants to stomp Arizona for what they did to him last year.
Yeah, see, I think Cam, I think Witt's actually being honest there. I think they don't care about revenge. I think they care about how they played, and I think they know they're a better team this year and they're going to play better.
Yeah.
But yeah, to my point there, I'm not saying that I don't like the Utes' chances without Cam. I just wouldn't favor them in the conference anymore if Cam's under center throughout the rest of the year.
Right.
Okay, this is true. Freshman quarterback under center?
I still favor him.
We're
through the toughest part of our schedule. Oklahoma State was the one loss that I predicted.
Yeah, no, actually, I predicted that loss too. But
yeah.
I would have to say, though, like I said, that's with a healthy Cam. So, I just, it's good. I'm glad we have an eternal optimist and a realist.
But that's the thing is, we predicted an Oklahoma State loss with a healthy Cam.
We did.
And now you're saying you don't think they can win without a healthy Cam?
Not the rest of the season, no.
Oh, I do.
I do think they have a loss in there. I still think they have a loss in there. More than one loss? You got me thinking on that one.
I think more than one. I think the only place they lose this season is outside of Bryce Eccles Stadium.
Right. Agree.
And I think that game comes down to the only game that I think they lose is going to be at UCF.
Right.
I've seen UCF play, and they're not a better football team than the University of Utah, and that is not as hostile an environment as Stillwater is.
Yeah. There was how many trip ups last year? Oregon State, Arizona.
But we're running. I mean, at this point, though, we literally have a walk-on quarterback taking snaps.
That's true.
And then we have a true freshman 4-star that was just lost. I mean, he looked panicked in every situation we put him in. Yeah, he got us through the Baylor game. Great. That got us out to our 3-0 start. But when you put a kid into some of these situations that wasn't ready for the moment, and neither one of those kids were. Neither one of them thought they were going to be the starting quarterback to start the season.
No, I'm pretty sure Isaac Wilson at this point didn't think he was going to be a starting quarterback either, but he definitely showed up for sure.
But he's ready.
We want to know what you think, folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about the Utah's chances against Arizona. Are you bullish like we are on Utah? Basically, just coming away with that and covering on the spread. We want to hear from you. Definitely let us know your prediction for Utah versus Arizona coming up now.